All right, hello there. Welcome to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we're about all things cinema. It's time for another entry in our Directors Spotlight series, Taste of Directors series. As I've mentioned before, a few months ago, going into the new year, I've changed the format of this series. It used to be a monthly series where I would do 11 of these each year, January through November, take a break in December, and then come back in January. But I would do a monthly director spotlight entry. I decided to move it to a quarterly format. And so I did a Taste of Directors series entry a few months ago on director Terrence Malick. So that was the first quarter. And in this second quarter, I am doing my entry on Taste of Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig films. So very excited to share some thoughts on these two filmmakers. I have not seen a ton of their movies. I have seen a few though, and I want to share some thoughts on these films and get your thoughts on some of your favorite films from these two amazing filmmakers. They are a married couple in Hollywood. They're a powerhouse filmmaking couple. And so I want to share some thoughts about these two filmmakers. And I want to hear what you think about these filmmakers. Those of you who've seen most of their films, have seen films that I won't even cover here. I definitely want to hear what you think about Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig films. So on the other side of this, we will get into Taste of Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig films. Let's go. All right, it's a beautiful day outside as we get ready to put a bow on the month of May. 5 months are almost in the books completely, and I can hardly believe it. I mean, I've gotten to the point where, time is just flying by now. We're going to be, Lord willing, it'll be, time to celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas, and we'll be singing Auld Lang Syne and seeing the ball drop on 2026 before we know it. But for the time being, let's enjoy the unofficial start of summer. And let's talk about some Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig films. So I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm going to jump into this PowerPoint presentation here that I have shared, that I will be sharing with you, that I prepared for you. So I am going to jump to that now so you can see the PowerPoint. So we're going to talk about Taste of Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig films. This is, again, part of our Taste of Directors series. This series is really designed to expose myself and others in the film community who have a chance to see these videos to filmmakers from around the world. And oftentimes I'm covering filmmakers that I'm not necessarily an expert on their filmography. I have had a chance to see some of their films, some of their output, and some of their contribution to the work of cinema, to the world of cinema, but I haven't seen all their films. So it's really an opportunity for me to learn more about these filmmakers' films, experiencing them for myself, learning from comments from you, the audience, but also a chance for you out there in the audience, if you've never heard of these filmmakers, if you've never seen any of their films, it's a chance to get exposed to some of the work that they have done so that you might want to explore their work. So it's really a chance to just explore and discover filmmakers from around the world. So that's why I do this series on this channel. So today we're talking about Taste of Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig. This is a married couple in Hollywood. Let's share a little bit of their background. So they were born on opposite coasts. Noah Baumbach and Gerwig attended higher education in New York City, in the Big Apple metropolitan area. So you'll see here a couple of pictures. You'll see Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig to the top left there. You see Vassar College, which is where Noah Baumbach studied. He studied in Vassar College. Of course, he was born in Brooklyn, New York. So he was born on the East Coast. Greta Gerwig was born in Sacramento, California. So they were basically born on opposite coasts, as I said there. But they ended up going to school in New York City. So Greta Gerwig went to school at Barnard, and the two were married in 2023. So you see pictures here of Brooklyn seen from Lower Manhattan, and you see the downtown Sacramento and the Sacramento River, Sacramento, California, being the capital of the Golden State, which is where Greta Gerwig hails from. Of course, these two filmmakers, when I think about Noah Baumbach, of course, he was born in 1969 in Brooklyn. He's the son of novelist Jonathan Baumbach and film critic Georgia Brown. So storytelling was definitely in his blood, given that he was born in this family to a novelist and to a film critic. He studied at Vassar College, and by age 26, he had already directed his debut film, Kicking and Screaming, that you see here, which is a talky, sharply observed post college comedy that gave early hints of the emotional honesty and wit that would be characterized in many of his films and would be shown in his later work. So, yeah, Kicking and Screaming marked Noah Baumbach's directorial debut. So, very interesting to see there. This is a film of his I have not seen yet. So let me know in the comment section below what you think of this film, Kicking and Screaming. And then we go to Greta Gerwig. She was born in 1983 in Sacramento, California. She took a very different path from her future husband. She studied English and philosophy at Barnard College that I showed earlier. And she originally wanted to be a playwright, but in the mid 2000s, she became a key figure in the mumblecore movement, which was a low-budget indie scene known for naturalistic dialogue and improvisational style. Films like Hannah Takes the Stairs and Nights and Weekends showcased her charisma and her unique voice. So you see here a couple of films that she starred in her early career. Hannah Takes the Stairs to the right, Nights and Weekends to the left. Of course, these are two films that got their fair share of acclaim. You'll see here an official selection at the South by Southwest Film Festival, official selection at the London Film Festival, as well as Stockholm Film Festival. So some great exposure, early exposure for Miss Gerwig. Now, so that's how they got started, born on opposite coasts, went to college, beginning to start their career. How did they meet? Well, they met while working on the film Greenberg from 2010, in which Gerwig starred alongside Ben Stiller here. So this is Ben Stiller. He is Greenberg in this film. And of course, it says here in the tagline, from the acclaimed director of The Squid and the Whale. So this is a film that Noah Baumbach um, directed. He directed Ben Stiller in this film, and he directed his future wife, Greta Gerwig, who starred in the film alongside the crazy Ben Stiller. Says here he's got a lot on his mind. So interesting. All right. So they met on working on that film Greenberg in 2010, but it will be another 13 years before they, finally tied the knot and got married. But they began to work on a variety of films together. And when you bring two filmmaking talents together, you get a combination of the best of both of these talents. So in the case of Greta Gerwig, her filmmaking style and her voice really tends to be in the space of coming of age and identity, especially around young women, bittersweet nostalgia, whimsical yet grounded tone, dialogue that feels lived in and sincere. You'll see that through a number of her films. And her influences include, Little Women, Chantal Ackerman, and Whit Stillman. So some very fascinating influences there for Greta Gerwig. You combine that with Noah Baumbach. Noah Baumbach, his films and his filmmaking style includes themes of family dysfunction and divorce, intellectual and neurotic type characters, such as Ben Stiller in that film Greenberg. Sharp, often dark humor, semi-autobiographical storytelling, and his influences include Woody Allen, Eric Romer, and Francois Truffaut. So you combine them together and you get films that express melancholy, and the combination of melancholy and optimism, balance of emotional realism and stylized expression, strong literate dialogue, and stories that reflect both male and female perspectives. So you take these two filmmaking talents, you bring them together, and you get a very nice combination. So it is literally a marriage on a personal level, but also a marriage of complementary filmmaking styles and talents. All right. So, as I typically do in this Spotlight series, Taste of Director series, I'll choose 3 or 4 films from that director, from those filmmakers, and just, to spotlight a few of those films to give you an idea of what those filmmakers have contributed to the world of cinema. Now, as I've said in many of these installments, choosing 3 or 4 films from a particular director won't necessarily give you the full depth and breadth of what that filmmaker has done. But the point is to expose you to a few of the films that they've made so that you can have an idea of their contribution to the world of cinema. So in this case, when we talk about Taste of Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig films, I'm going to spotlight these 4 films. So we got Frances Ha, which I have in the Criterion collection right here. It's one of my very early Criterion releases that I picked up. Very fascinating release. This is actually back from the dual format days. So this is inclusive of a Blu-ray and a DVD at the time. So Frances Ha, Spy number 681 in the collection. The Squid and the Whale, which is also in the collection, which I also have. I don't have it up here to show you, but I have The Squid and the Whale from Noah Baumbach. And then, of course, Marriage Story from Noah Baumbach. So the first 3 films here are featured in the Criterion collection, all directed by Noah Baumbach. The first stars his future wife, Greta Gerwig and Frances Ha. But then you also have The Squid and the Whale and Marriage Story. And then to the far right, we have the box office titan Barbie from 2023 that was directed by Greta Gerwig that stars Margot Robbie as well as Ryan Gosling. So Margot Robbie played Barbie, Ryan Gosling played Ken, and this was the box office behemoth from a couple of years ago. So these are the 4 films that I'm going to feature in this director spotlight. Let me know in the comment section if you were doing a spotlight on Noah Baumbach films and Greta Gerwig films, which 3 or 4 films would you spotlight? And what do you think of these 4 films that I'm about to talk about? Let me know that in the comments section below. So we shall proceed. The first film here is The Squid and the Whale. So this is Noah Baumbach's breakthrough. This is, of course, you see, several pictures here featuring the stars of this film. This is a semi-autobiographical story that follows 2 brothers in 1980s Brooklyn as they deal with their parents' divorce. It's painfully funny, it's deeply personal, and it's sharply written, with Baumbach laying bare his own childhood experience in a way that feels uncomfortably real. So it's basically semi-autobiographical. It sort of tells the tale partially through the lens of his own experiences. And a little known fact about this movie is that this title comes from a real exhibit at the American Museum of Natural History in New York, where a young Noah Baumbach used to stare at the squid and whale locked in a battle and found it terrifying and comforting. So that emotional contradiction is kind of the perfect metaphor for his film. So this is The Squid and the Whale. You'll see Noah Baumbach there pictured in between Jesse Eisenberg and Stephen Baldwin there. So very, very good stuff there. So The Squid and the Whale. Let me know in the comments section what you think about this film. This is a film that I have in the Criterion collection. I have it in my collection. I've seen it once. It's been a number of years since I've seen it, but I definitely want to revisit this film. But let me know in the comment section what you think about this film and whether this is one of your favorite films from Noah Baumbach, The Squid and the Whale. All right, the next film is a film that I find incredibly charming. I love this film. It is from 2013. It's now crazy to think that it's a dozen years old, but it is Frances Ha. It is this title that I have right here. And Greta Gerwig is radiant as Frances, a woman in her late 20s in contemporary New York, trying to sort out her ambitions, her finances, and above all, her intimate but shifting bond with her best friend, Sophie, Mickey Sumner. Meticulously directed by Noah Baumbach with a free and easy vibe reminiscent of the French New Wave's most spirited films, and written by Baumbach and Gerwig with an effortless combination of sweetness and wit. Again, combination of their styles. They both wrote this together. Frances Ha gets at both the frustrations and the joys of being young and unsure of where to go next. So this is a fantastic film. It's a coming of age type film. of Greta Gerwig playing Frances Ha, a young woman in New York City trying to figure out her life. A young woman trying to figure out where her life is going to go next and what are the best decisions to make and how does she manage the relationships in her life. So, really, really good stuff. Kind of reminds me of The Worst Person in the World, a more contemporary film. Just one of those films of coming of age, young, figuring out what to do with your life type of a film. So this is a really, really good movie. This is the two of them collaborating in a very real way of writing this story together. And of course, Frances Ha starring in this film as the title character. So this film is in black and white. It's a beautiful looking film. This is a film that I would actually love to see get a 4K release, get a nice little 4K upgrade. This release on Blu-ray was based on a new high definition digital master. So very, very interesting and approved by the co-writer and director. So approved by Baumbach and Gerwig. So great stuff. Frances Ha is a fantastic film in the collection. And a little known fact about Frances Ha is they shot much of this film guerrilla style without permits, which including that very whimsical Paris sequence. It was filmed in just a couple of days, partly financed by frequent flyer miles. So very neat little fun fact about Frances Ha. You'll see down there pictured in the middle, Baumbach and Gerwig there in the middle there. But just a fantastic story. Again, it's in black and white, shot in that beautiful black and white. And it is an absolutely stunning, stunning film, Frances Ha. If you like coming of age stories, Frances Ha is a no brainer. Marriage Story from 2019. I have this one as well. It's downstairs. I didn't bring it up, but this is an interesting film here. I have not finished this film. I need to finish watching this film, but I am featuring it here because it is a very recent film from Noah Baumbach that I think is notable in part because Laura Dern won Best Supporting Actress for her role as Nora Fanshawe in this film. So that is definitely important to note about this film. And of course, Marriage Story is Noah Baumbach's most emotionally mature work to date. It's a film about love falling apart, not with bitterness, but with empathy. This is, of course, this stars Kylo Ren and Black Widow. No, it stars Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson as a couple getting a divorce and just navigating the whole uh, devastating mess that can be, even under the best of situations. There's no such thing as a good divorce. So this is a film that deals with that. And the writing is incredibly balanced. You feel both characters as they go through the unraveling of their marriage. And Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson bring to life with devastating precision this story, Marriage Story. So I need to finish watching this. So, little known fact is that Baumbach modeled parts of the story of Marriage Story on his own divorce from Jennifer Jason Leigh. This is before he married Greta Gerwig, but he also collaborated closely with Gerwig during the writing process. Again, more of their collaboration together, putting this story together, reading scenes aloud to her and shaping the tone of the story together. So, and of course, Laura Dern, yay, she won Best Supporting Actress for her role as Nora Fanshawe in this film. So great to see some of our favorite performers like Laura Dern getting recognition there. But yeah, this is Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, ScarJo, in this film from Noah Baumbach together. Let me know what you think of Marriage Story in the comments. And then the last film we'll talk about, and I want to really get your comments on what you think about all these films, but this is a nice eclectic mix of films, capped off with this one from 2023, a very recent film from a couple years ago that dominated the box office, and it is Barbie. So this film was written by Gerwig and Baumbach, and the film's 1.4 billion with a billion dollar box office made it the highest grossing film of 2023. Oscar winner for Best Achievement in Music Original Song. So this is Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling starring as Barbie and Ken in this box office titan from 2023. You see Greta Gerwig doing her directing thing. They're looking into one of the video screens there at the bottom, and just fantastic looking film. It's a spectacle of a film. I have it on 4K Ultra HD, and it is definitely a sight to see. So I did not see this in the theaters, but I do have it on 4K Ultra HD. And of course, then there's Barbie, a bold, imaginative film that centered Greta Gerwig as a major force in mainstream cinema, directing this film. So she worked from a script that she co-wrote with Baumbach, and she transformed what could have been a toy commercial into a full-on existential comedy about identity, feminism, and the absurdity of modern life. So, a little known fact about Barbie is when the idea of Barbie was first pitched to Gerwig and Baumbach, Baumbach initially said no to the idea. He thought it sounded ridiculous, which I can understand why he'd feel that way. But Gerwig was intrigued. Once she was in, she got on board, and during the pandemic, the two wrote the screenplay together in quarantine. So they wrote this around 2020, 2021, and it finally made its way to the screen in 2023 in a bright and colorful, powerful, and very profitable way. So this is Barbie from 2023. Barbenheimer's combined 2023 epic box office, $2.4 billion. Oppenheimer, the Academy Award winner for Best Picture, directed by Christopher Nolan, um, actually came very close to eclipsing $1 billion itself. I think it finished out at like 975 million, so just under $1 billion. But I think it was helped by the whole Heimer campaign, just sort of saying, "Hey, go see Barbie and go see Oppenheimer. Go see Oppenheimer, then go see Barbie." That whole thing sort of helped boost both of the films and was a phenomenon back in 2023. And together, they made about $2.4 billion at the box office. So fantastic stuff. So yeah, so there you have it. Those are the four films that I wanted to talk about for Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig. Let me know what you think about those four films. Let me know what you think about The Squid and the Whale, Frances Ha, Barbie, and Marriage Story. Let me know what you think about those four films. Now, as far as what is upcoming from Baumbach and Gerwig, we have a film called Jay Kelly that's coming out later this year. This film was written by Noah Baumbach and Emily Mortimer, and it's coming November 2025. And I believe that Gerwig had a creative role in this film as well. But this is George Clooney leads Noah Baumbach's new movie as Netflix sets award season release dates for theaters and streaming. So this is coming out later this year. So I believe it's coming out on Netflix, and it is another film from the mind of Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig. So I will stop sharing there and come back. I want to know in the comment section, what do you think about these films from these two amazing filmmakers? What do you think about other films? And what are some other films that you would have highlighted if you were doing a spotlight on Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig? What are some other films that you would choose in that spotlight? Let me know that in the comment section below, and just let me know what your feedback is on this series in general. I have a playlist on my channel for my Taste Director series where I have all of the entries. I think I have probably 40 or more of these entries in that playlist. Go to that playlist. I'll put a link in this video to that playlist and check out those entries of other directors that I've talked about through the years. Let me know what you think about this entry and just give me your feedback on what you like about the series, what you feel differently about. I want to hear your thoughts because I value your comments and your feedback. But I hope you enjoyed this entry. Let me know what you think about the films I covered, as well as other films you can think of from these two filmmakers. And I hope you have a fantastic day and have a great June ahead. Have a great one. Peace.